there is a important, vital, essential, profound message that must be relayed onto you. And it's something that you might be aware of already, or something that you might just need a reminder and a kick up the arse to remember. And that is the value of pain, suffering, and discipline in a world that increasingly promotes and allows and encourages comfort, ease, and coddling. Now, it is embedded within the logic of technology itself to provide automation and convenience and ease of access and ease of use. But that is something that must be carefully considered, as the trajectory now is creating generations and generations of people that want things easily and want things accessible and want things instantly, and they are forgetting the utmost importance and the value of pain, suffering, and discipline as necessary tools for growth and for power and for self-actualization. So it's become incumbent, in fact imperative on us in the modern day to actively and deliberately and consciously seek out that which is a form of resistance to our wills. It's something that is deeply uncomfortable. It's something that is painful. And there are many different permutations of such a thing, of such a challenge inflicted upon oneself. If you imagine the trajectory of human history, the earliest days must have been the most difficult. The earliest days with the most rudimentary prototypes of what we have now in terms of clothing and tools and housing and that kind of thing. Well, those items that were at the disposal of our ancestors were much less able to withstand the forces of nature, of the environment, of predators in our environment, of each other, of our ability to stay warm, of our ability to transport, or of our ability to eat regularly. And as human history has progressed, things have become easier and easier and easier. And that's a good thing. We should make things easier to an extent. But now, as I said, it's become incumbent upon us in a world that has become too easy, in a world that has become too soft, to regain power and control and to put ourselves through challenging situations in order to grow. Because if we are not growing, then we are, stagnating. Now, this thought was provoked in me during the reading session of Robert Greene's book, Mastery. And you know me, I'm one of Robert Greene's biggest fans. I'm always raving on about his books. Every person should be reading his books. He's a great storyteller, and his writing can be applied to anyone in whatever they're doing. And then the book Mastery, as you can imagine, it's a book about how to become a master in whatever endeavor or inclination that is relevant to your personal life, to self-actualize. And one recurring trope throughout this book is the importance of consistency and discipline and pain and suffering. So I just want to read you a quick passage from the book that's very thought-provoking. After telling a story of a Zen student called Hakuin, who was trying to become a Zen master and was experiencing difficulty with his master, suddenly, after years of under the tutelage of this master, he woke up and he reached enlightenment, but only after years and years of trials, tribulations, weaknesses, tough love, discipline, pain. And so Robert Greene says, I quote, "Everyone must constantly be pushed to the abyss, starting over and feeling their utter worthlessness as a student. Without suffering and doubts, the mind will come to rest on cliches and stay there until the spirit dies as well. Not even enlightenment is enough. You must continually start over and challenge yourself. And a few passages down he writes, to reach mastery requires some toughness and a constant connection to reality. As an apprentice, it can be hard for us to challenge ourselves on our own in the proper way, and to get a clear sense of our weaknesses. The times that we live in make this even harder. Developing discipline through challenging situations and perhaps suffering along the way are no longer values that are promoted in our culture. People are increasingly reluctant to tell each other the truth about themselves, their weaknesses, their inadequacies, flaws in their work. And this is the part I really like. Even the self-help books designed to set us straight tend to be soft and flattering, telling us what we want to hear, that we are basically good and get what we want by following a few simple steps. It seems abusive or damaging to people's self-esteem to offer them stern, realistic criticism, to set them tasks that will make them aware of how far they have to go. In fact, this indulgence in fear of hurting people's feelings is far more abusive in the long run. It makes it hard for people to gauge where they are or to develop self-discipline. It makes them unsuited for the rigors of the journey to mastery. It weakens people's will. So you see, one of my favorite authors there vehemently agrees, that we have become a society that is too tough. A society that's become too weak. I wish it was the society that was tough. Because toughness and a strong-spirited will is something that can exist individually and collectively, and requires a culture. In other words, a recurring collection of customs, traditions, ideas, and practices collectively to imbue the individual with the hardening of the spirit, to become mentally tough, to become mentally disciplined. But that's not the case. The tough love barely comes from anyone else these days, because we want to pamper and coddle each other about how great we are and how positive we should be. And to ourselves as well. We are not hard on ourselves in terms of the improvements that we need to make, in terms of pointing out our weaknesses. But this is a necessary tool for growth. And if we are not growing, we are stagnating. We have to be hard on ourselves sometimes. We shouldn't be feeling good all the time. There is an extremely useful and valuable element to pain and suffering and discipline. Choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. So if hustle culture is telling you to always be positive all the time and to look in the mirror and give yourself affirmations, I am great and I am powerful and you're just you're living in a world of illusion. You've got to be harsh on yourself at least some of the time, to point out your weaknesses, to understand the areas where you need to grow. Now, you may have not read the book Mastery by Robert Greene, and by extension you may not know what your life's calling is, what your niche is, what you were born and destined to do. But one very, very basic thing that I would like you to start with, if you have not even embarked on this journey, is the daily practice of cold showers. I'm not going to sit here and tell you about all the benefits of cold showers. What I'm simply going to say is start each day by taking a cold shower. And as you do this day after day after day, you'll start to begin and understand the value of discipline and consistency and pain and struggle and challenging yourself with just the basic 5-minute daily act. Gradually over time, one thing will lead to another. And just because today you made the decision to take a cold shower and to put yourself through pain and discipline, one thing leads to another. You become a master of a given and specific, a unique pursuit or endeavor that aligns with your life's calling. So remember, pain, suffering, discipline, if these elements don't exist in your life at the moment, then you're not growing. So actively seek out ways to do things that your mind and body doesn't want to do. Actively seek things that alter the balance and the homeostasis of your body and mind. I hope I've provided something of value to you today. Look after yourself, and I will. See you next time.